Hello and welcome to This is Just Ross and Chris chatting about Scottish property. So earlier Ross and I were talking off camera about a couple of properties that we didn't sell, which might seem a bit strange, but of course we're always looking at the whys and the whats and the hows. And these properties that we didn't sell are actually now being sold by a different estate agent. And it is true, we are not always the best fit for the property or that person. Ross, those one or two of those properties, is there anything that you can say about them? We can't mention names or so on, but
Yeah, no, I suppose that for both of the properties, what was a common factor there was that the tenancies was running down for both of those properties. So the properties were tenanted and then became vacant. So as soon as they became vacant, the landlord then makes a decision, should we continue to sort of market these as investment properties, or do we go to the much wider audience of the open market with vacant possession to a home buyer? And sort of change their sort of tact on whether they can attract it. I suppose it depends on what kind of property it is. Is it a first-time buyer property? What's the first-time buyer market like at that particular time? Is it maybe the next run of the ladder up? How is that sort of been impacted by maybe a lack of first-time buyers on the bottom run of the market? So there's probably quite a few factors for them to take into consideration. But certainly for those two properties,
yeah,
tenants were vacating, which sometimes makes it less attractive for an investor buyer to buy the properties because they're looking for rental income on day one of ownership.
Yep.
And as soon as those tenants slip out the property, and they can do that with a month's notice. We discussed in the last video we did about the timescales involved in buying a property, and they could be 10 to 12 weeks. A tenant only needs to give a month's notice, and sometimes we've chatted about this before.
When I'm speaking to a landlord who's thinking of selling their property, I always say to them that there's a difference. The big difference between selling a vacant property and selling a tenanted property is really the size of the audience. So when you're selling a vacant property, anybody can buy it. Gazillions of home buyers out there potentially. Obviously, it's not quite true, but it's a massive, massive market. Anybody that can buy it. And the buyer, when they're buying a home, you make your decision based on different things. There's more emotion involved. So, ordinarily, you would normally expect to get a slightly higher sale price by selling a vacant property as opposed to selling a tenanted property. Because when you're selling a tenanted property, it's a smaller audience. The people that will buy it will become the new landlord. They are property investors. So, I think the point being is that we stay 100% focused on what we do and what we do extremely well. We still get good sale prices. Okay, prior to COVID, we were getting 3 or 4% above home report value, which I think is actually incredible. And now we're getting sale prices on home report, maybe 1 or 2% below home report, but I still think very, very good sale prices. If property investors maybe are a little bit more cautious these days, we'll see how that goes into next year. But we're delivering great results. But if a property is to become vacant, there's a really honest conversation to have with the landlord.
Yeah,
that's looking to sell, and that is maybe sell it through somebody else because really that's their thing. And there's no problem with that for us.
It isn't, and a client will come to us and say, "Listen, because the tenants have decided to move out, I'm going to try and sell it to a home buyer. I'm really sorry." And then we say, well, "That's fine. We ultimately what we want them to do is sell the property, whether it be to an investor, to a home buyer. We sort of share in that journey with them, and we want what's best for them. So it doesn't really." We're disappointed to lose the instruction, but ultimately we want them to sell the property, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's a definite little dent in the pride when when that happens. But then if it was tenanted, the landlord continues to receive rent, and our time to sell is about 35 to 40 days. So that's actually again really quick. So not only good sale prices, but our time to sell is very good too. So
yeah,
we're very, very well. But again, when it becomes vacant or about to become vacant, then, you know, we don't advertise in all the same places that other estate agents, regular estate agents, if you like, do. We do advertise on Zoopla, so we get some results from there, but the strength of Portfolio is in the database that we've got, which is huge. It's well over 1,700, it's almost 1,800 people on our database. And, you know, every day we're advertising around the world to find more and more buyers, and that's all we do. We're just working to sell tenanted properties to other landlords, and that's it. Yeah. I think that might do us, Ross. What do you think?
I think so, and it's not when that does happen. It's not as if we jump onto the other estate agent's website on a daily basis and check to see how the property is.
Only every second day, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it doesn't always work. But you know, what we're here to do is to help the clients as much as possible, and if that means they change because the tenant has vacated, then we help them do that. We help make sure the transition from us to someone else is as smooth as possible.
Thanks a lot, Ross.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, bud. Bye.
Bye.